Hey guys, just wanted to check in with kind of the weekly video. As I talked about in my first video, I plan on doing kind of a end of week recap of kind of how all the 5 areas went when it came to faith, staying faithful and disciplined within them. So I hope everyone had a great week, great start to it. I know this is kind of a short week in regards to the year 2021. Really, just starting on Friday was the first day. So just to kind of recap my 5 areas that I talked about, I wanted to really focus on. First one was faith. Second one was family. Third one was fitness. Fourth one was finance. And fifth one was forgiveness. So in the realm of faith, I talked about 3 things in that first video I wanted to focus on. First was daily reading plan within the Bible. That went really well for the first 3 days. So 3 for 3. It's actually sparked some really good discussion. I've posted a couple things here on Instagram, which have also covered over onto Facebook and had some comments, and some people want to join in and message me about that. So really excited. Hopefully that continues on, and we can kind of spur each other on to continue in our reading and getting to know God and work our way through His Word. Second thing I talked about is I wanted to be consistent in daily prayer, and so actually timed out really well. The church I'm a part of, Harvest Springs Community Church, we as a church are beginning the 2021 with 21 days of prayer. And so a good friend of mine, one of the pastors, Michael Stambaugh, has organized kind of a setup where we're going through the Lord's Prayer and then Paul's prayer out of Ephesians, and praying those daily and kind of focusing on specific parts of the Lord's Prayer right now, specifically, and kind of talking about what's important about those and things we can pray about specific to that part of the prayer as well. And so been very, very good on that so far. I've been doing that in the mornings, both my daily Bible reading and the time in prayer with God. I've been getting up, setting up time early in the morning and doing that to get my day started, which really just kind of jumpstarts my day and really gets me going, to be honest. And so and the third thing I talked about was Bible studies, and so I've got one currently ongoing with 2 of my friends, or 2 of my buddies. Excuse me, itchy nose. With 2 of my buddies, and we meet on Mondays over Skype because we're in all 3 in different locations across the United States. So caught up with that. We're working through. It's really just the Bible, but it's called the Immersion series, and so it's kind of a simplified version of the Bible would be the best way of saying it. It's New Living Translation, but they pull out all of the verses and chapter numbers of every book. And so you're reading through a book like the Book of John or something like that, but it's just more of a story rather than a reference style, which is what the Bible we use every day. And so, and then we have kind of 4 questions that we go through to every time to just talk about what stood out to us and what do we felt like God was saying to us through this, through the reading. And so all caught up on that, excited to go with them. We're going to be completing our first book. They've taken the Bible and kind of broken it into 6 separate novels, essentially, with the different books of the Bible and how they grouped them and ordered them. And so we're going to be finishing our first one, which is basically the New Testament. It's called Messiah, and then we're about to start our second one, which is called The Beginnings, which is basically Genesis and kind of the start of the traditional Bible that we use. Second area, again, I talked about was family, and so really wanted to focus on 3 things. First one, loving and serving Katie, and so really been thinking about areas I can do that. I've been trying to do a better job just serving and loving her, and so tried to make sure that I made an extra emphasis to kind of to hold her this weekend, and to cook dinners and help out where I could, and so. Always going to be looking for improvement in that area, but I think off to a decent start there. I talked about discipling your kids, and so Lillian and I just started a nightly devotional together, a new one, and we've been doing a few. It's called Amped. It was a theme for one of the VBSs a few years back, and we got it from the youth pastor at our church, and so we started that tonight together. And then Keaton, he's still pretty young, but we've been talking a little bit about things as well. And then third area what we talked about was fostering, and so Katie and I have got to sit down and kind of finish everything up on our application and get that submitted and everything, but we're heading in the right direction there. Third area I talked about was fitness, and within that, fitness was kind of just a cover word because it started with F, but really talking about healthy living. And in this one I talked about I wanted really focus in on exercise, nutrition, and then a healthy lifestyle. And on the weekends, typically are my times off. I'm going to start exercising on Saturdays again, but Sunday will be my day of rest. But I took this entire weekend off, so Monday will be kind of the first day back where I hit it hard at the gym and really get going again on it. I've been working out previously kind of through the month of October, November, and December with a brief spell where I was off for COVID and a few other things, but overall I've been pretty consistent there, so really going to kind of crank that up a little bit and get going. We started a nutritional plan. I posted a picture of our supplements we'll be using during this cycle of it through Advocare, and so that gets going tomorrow, though we did eat a pretty healthy meal today as well, and just to kind of get going a little bit earlier on the nutritional side. One thing I did want to say is I had talked about in the first video posting pictures of myself and kind of my progress throughout that, and then after kind of thinking about that and consulting just with a couple other people, getting their opinions on it, I've decided I'm not going to post pictures of myself with my shirt off or anything like that. Not really because I'm ashamed or anything like that. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't make me super comfortable to walk around with the shirt off, but more of, I don't want people to think that body image is the main thing for me, or really it should be a main thing for them. God created us all very uniquely, and so I don't think a picture of my body is necessarily representative if I'm living healthy and if my lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle. So I will be posting some information about where my weight's going and things like that, where I'm starting at. That type of information will be going up pretty regularly. I plan on basically doing it about every 2 weeks. I'll probably weigh myself. We've got one of those smart scales that connects to our phone as well at our house, and so it actually does a BMI and body fat and stuff like that. So I'll post some of those numbers just to kind of keep that up to date as well. And so I think that's going to be the route I'll be going rather than pictures of my body. Just because, again, if somebody were to stop by this page and take a look at that, I don't want them to feel like body image is everything. I think your body can be reflective of being healthy or not being healthy. But God made us each uniquely different. What my body looks like when it's healthy is not the same for you or for someone else. And so I've decided not to do that portion, which I had originally talked about, but rather focusing on those metrics with BMI and body fat and weight. And I kind of know where my comfortable weight is, which is around 165 normally. Between 155 to 165 is kind of where I'm at my best and healthiest weight. So fourth area we talked about was finances. So I talked about in that I wanted to focus on 3 areas there. One, 11% giving back of our income. So we'll be starting that. Our kind of fiscal cycle runs starting on the 20th of every month. So we haven't really gotten started on that part. We've already given for this last cycle as well. So we'll be starting that 11% basically on January 20th. We talked about refinancing the house. That'll kind of be a process throughout the next few months, and then paying off the student loans, which we've been doing now for a while as well. And then last part was forgiveness. We wanted to learn what it is and how to, recognizing who I need to, and then just going out and doing it. And I talked about a book I was reading by Lisa TerKeurst. If I'm completely honest, I was a little bit slacking this weekend. My team, Ohio State, played. For those of you who didn't know, they played pretty well. So that kind of took up my night. And night's usually when I do my readings. That's an excuse, but it's the truth. And I want to be transparent in that, that I used, that on Friday. Saturday, we went and had some fun with some friends and played some board games and stuff and got back a little bit later. And then tonight, we were just kind of getting ready for the weekend. My wife was helping me grade a few papers and get things going or not getting ready for the weekend, but getting ready for the school week as we head back to school tomorrow. So, well, that's basically everything that's going on right now in those first 5 for the first few days. A little bit longer video than I was expecting it to be, but I wanted to like I said, make a video every week, talk about the progress. Would love to hear any feedback you guys have, encouragements, pushback, any of that stuff that you think would be helpful. Again, if this in one area speaks to you, please let me know. I'd love to have a conversation. But otherwise, I praying that you guys have great weeks and that everyone gets off to a strong start in 2021. I think God really wants to do something special through each of us. No, I know God wants to do something special through each of us. But again, it goes back to us being disciplined within what we're doing, submitting to Him, and accepting what it is that He wants to do with how He wants to use us. So, hope everyone has a great week. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys again soon.